The battlefield of Epsilon 7 had gone silent. Smoke curled from the scorched earth where the Galactic Coalition's forces had clashed with the Ravager swarm just hours ago. The Coalition had won barely, but victory came at a terrible cost. Among the wounded and dying, Draal lay in a crater. His massive werewolf form twisted at unnatural angles. His gray fur was matted with dark blood, and his breathing came in shallow, ragged gasps. Shrapnel had torn through his left side, and his hind leg was crushed beneath a fallen debris beam. His amber eyes, once fierce and proud, now flickered with fading consciousness. The Coalition medics moved through the battlefield with practiced efficiency, their anti-gravity stretchers hovering between the wounded. But when they reached Draal, they paused. The Gelithian medic, a crystalline being whose faceted surface reflected the dim light, scanned him with cold precision. "Werewolf, Lupinar species," the medic announced, its voice resonating like wind chimes. "Mercenary unit. No registered Coalition citizenship. Resource expenditure not justified. But he fought for us," a younger medic protested. A Valerian with soft, tentacled features. "He held the eastern flank alone for 20 minutes. We wouldn't have survived without—" "Irrelevant," the Gelithian interrupted. "Medical protocols are clear. Priority goes to Coalition citizens. Resources are limited. Move on." They left him there. One by one, the medics passed by Draal's broken form, their eyes averted, their minds already calculating the next patient, the next resource allocation. In the cold mathematics of galactic warfare, a mercenary werewolf, an outsider, a being without citizenship or rights, simply didn't factor into the equation. Draal's consciousness drifted. He'd known the risks when he'd signed on as a mercenary. His kind always knew. Werewolves weren't welcome in the polished halls of Coalition space. They were too aggressive, too unpredictable, too primitive for the enlightened species that governed the galaxy. They were useful for fighting, for dying, but never for saving. He closed his eyes, accepting what was to come. Then he heard footsteps. "Hey! Hey! Someone's still alive over here!" The voice was unfamiliar, high-pitched, urgent, and speaking in the rough trade language of the outer colonies. Draal forced his eyes open and saw a figure approaching through the smoke. A human. Female. She wore the patchworked armor of a Coalition engineer, covered in burn marks and hydraulic fluid. Kara dropped to her knees beside him, her dark eyes wide with shock. "Oh God. Really bad." Her hands moved over his injuries with surprising gentleness, assessing the damage. "Why hasn't anyone helped you?" Draal tried to speak, but only a low growl emerged from his throat. "Don't try to talk," Kara said quickly. She looked around, frantically waving at a passing medical team. "Hey! Over here! We need help!" The Gelithian medic from before approached, its surface dimming with irritation. "Human Kara. We have already assessed this subject. Resource allocation." "I don't care about your allocation," Kara snapped, standing to face the medic. Despite being half its size, she showed no fear. "This soldier fought for the Coalition. He's dying. You're going to help him." "Negative. He is not a citizen. He's a person," Kara interrupted, her voice dropping to something dangerous. "And if you don't help him, I'm going to file a formal complaint with Coalition Command about medical negligence. I'm also going to contact every news outlet from here to the core worlds about how the enlightened Coalition lets its defenders die in the dirt." The medic's surface flickered with colors indicating conflict. "Your threats are not threats. Promises." Kara crossed her arms. "Now, are you going to help? Or do I need to do this myself?" The Gelithian medic regarded her for a long moment, then rotated away. "Do as you wish. But medical supplies for non-citizens come from your personal requisition." "Fine," Kara shot back. She turned back to Draal, dropping beside him again. "Okay, big guy. This is going to hurt, but I'm getting you out of here." Over the next hour, Kara worked with desperate determination. She used her engineering knowledge to improvise a welding torch to cauterize the worst bleeding, structural foam to stabilize his crushed leg, stimulants from her own medical kit to keep his heart beating. Other soldiers passed by, some curious, most indifferent. But Kara didn't stop. She talked to him the whole time, her voice steady and reassuring. "My name's Kara. I'm from Earth, you probably haven't heard of it. We're pretty new to this whole galactic community thing. I work on ship engines mostly, so I'm not exactly a doctor, but I'm pretty good at keeping things from falling apart." She injected another stimulant into his shoulder. "And you're not falling apart on my watch, Draal." Draal's eyes widened slightly. She'd read his identification tag. "Yeah, I see you." She continued, wrapping a compression bandage around his torso. "Draal of the Lupinar Pax. Mercenary, 2nd class. Fought in the Antares campaign and the siege of Vortan's Gate. Pretty impressive resume." She smiled at him, and for the first time in hours, Draal felt something other than pain. "You're a warrior. Warriors don't die in craters forgotten by cowards." Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Kara managed to stabilize him enough to signal for transport. A human medical ship, a small, battered vessel from Earth's auxiliary fleet, descended to pick them up. The human medics who emerged didn't hesitate, didn't question. They simply loaded Draal onto a stretcher and brought him aboard. As the ship lifted off, Draal felt consciousness slipping again. But this time, without fear. Kara sat beside his stretcher, her hand resting gently on his massive paw. "You're going to make it," she said softly. "Because humans? We don't leave people behind. No matter who they are, where they're from, or what some bureaucrat says they're worth." Draal wanted to tell her that her species was foolish, that mercy was a weakness in the cold galaxy, that she'd wasted resources on a creature that would likely die anyway. But as darkness claimed him, he realized something else entirely. Perhaps the galaxy had been wrong about many things. Perhaps humans understood something the enlightened species had forgotten, that civilization wasn't measured by technology or resource efficiency, but by who you chose to save when no one else would. And perhaps, just perhaps, that made them the most advanced species of all.